first thing the president did after her reincarnation was to buy a pile of luxury gifts for her eldest son, the one she had always neglected. However, her youngest son, whom she had cherished the most, instinctively assumed everything belonged to him and rushed to snatch it all away. When he did, the woman called the police, wanted to have him arrested for theft. She now knew the true nature of her youngest son. In her previous life, her adopted son, who was set to inherit her fortune, had cunningly betrayed her. But at the critical moment, it was her biological son, whom she had always scorned, who came to her rescue. Her heart was filled with remorse. When she woke up, she found herself on the eve of the day she would designate her adopted son as the heir to the company. She swore that this time, she would never again neglect her real son, and that the adopted son would pay for his actions. That day, she saw the housekeeper washing her son's clothes. The housekeeper thought she was about to be punished, but to her surprise, the woman handed her a bank card and asked her to buy new clothes for her eldest son. The housekeeper was stunned, as she had been the only one to care for him all this time. The woman explained she had finally opened her eyes and was correcting her mistakes. Soon after, she bought a mountain of luxury goods and asked the housekeeper to give them to her eldest son. But the adopted son, seeing the gifts laid out on the table, assumed they were for him and tried to take everything. When the housekeeper told him they were meant for the eldest son, he slapped her violently and declared that the boy didn't deserve anything, before assaulting him. Powerless, the housekeeper pretended she had lied. Only then did the adopted son stop beating the boy and order the gifts be taken to his room. When the woman returned home and saw the mark of the slap on the housekeeper's face, she immediately demanded an explanation. Furious upon learning the truth, she rushed into the room and ordered the adopted son to return what he had taken. He feigned ignorance. At that moment, the grandmother and husband intervened to defend the adopted son, but the woman called the police and accused him of stealing gifts worth several thousands. Panicked, the grandmother tried to persuade her to drop the charges, but the woman insisted again on the return of the gifts. The grandmother then turned to the adopted son and promised to buy him everything again if he returned the items. Enraged, he threw the gifts onto the bed and stormed out of the room. That day, the grandmother gave him 5 million euros to buy a birthday gift for the woman. He hypocritically accepted, but then said he would just buy something cheap from street market. Meanwhile, the woman was reviewing an investigation report on her adopted son. She discovered he was a despicable person and bitterly regretted her past decisions. Her assistant asked if she still intended to leave him the inheritance. She firmly refused and ordered a new contract, naming her biological son as the heir. She vowed to expel the adopted son from the family. At the reception, everyone rushed to flatter the adopted son, while her eldest son was mocked and labeled incompetent. When he arrived, the adopted son immediately tried to throw him out and ordered that his clothes be cut into shreds with scissors. Humiliated and helpless, the eldest son was overwhelmed. The adopted son then took the simple scarf the boy had brought as a gift, mocked him for his poverty, and tore it apart amid the laughter of curious guests. The eldest son tried to stop him, but was roughly assaulted. The adopted son cruelly told him he was only fit to be a slave, because he alone was the heir to the family. That's when the woman entered. She coldly declared that he would never become the heir.